Welcome to the channel, Nation. I'm Jaden Chase, and these are some of the top stories making headlines today. Now, truth be told, Nation, this is not a situation where the Prime Minister can solely be blamed for the crime problem taking place on the Jamaican island. Truth be told, decades now, crime and violence has been a major issue, but this is definitely not a good look for the administration in power or the island overall. 8 out of the 14 parishes have been listed on a level 3 travel advisory by the United States of America. This will definitely affect tourism, as 2 of the parishes listed are considered major tourism hotspots, that of Westmoreland and that of St. James. The Nation article reads, the United States is urging Americans to reconsider visiting the island, listing 8 of the country's 14 parishes that are at risk due to violence and crime. In fact, with the advisory being issued just ahead of the summer travel season, the US has singled out the popular resort town of Montego Bay in St. James as an area to avoid due to crime. Then, did residents of these parishes think that with global social media very active, and with the situations taking place in a popular resort town like Mobile, that agencies within the State Department would not take note? As I was saying, we have seen rural communities get engulfed with crime and violence. Some have blamed it on the dialing. Truth be told, me, I said the mindset of the people is definitely at play here. For far too long, we have seen a handful of individuals put communities under siege. Something about some community, they must say, yes, crime and violence over there. Pay bad man. I want to check it out. It's a handful of individuals. Less than a quarter of the populace in these communities are involved in criminal activity. How them manage to put an entire community under siege? The other parishes listed by the Americans are Clarendon, Hanover, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Anne, St. Catherine, St. James, of course, and Westmoreland. Now hear this. This is a tip for Americans who still decide to travel to the island. Remember, the island is beloved across the world. The people across the world have so much love for the island that despite crime and violence, millions of people visit the island annually. Senseless crime and violence need to stop now. One of the tips for those North American citizens is avoid walking or driving at night. That will affect a sector that is needed for boost the GDP and boost the economy, which is the entertainment sector, which takes place at night. And tourists are being advised to avoid walking and driving at night. They are advised to avoid public buses. They are advised to avoid scheduled places or situations. It's about it, not like this. I was saying put in the work to keep tourism going during Big C19, where, different travel advisories were being given all across the globe. I mean, the borders were open, even at points where citizens were saying that, maybe they should have been closed. But with the government stating that tourism is a major contributor to the GDP, even though this is something we didn't talk about. Despite tourism being looked at as one of the biggest sectors on the island, did you know that majority of tourism is controlled by the private sector? I almost say controlled, I mean from the attractions the people go to the hotels and resorts that are constructed, owned and operated overseas. An investment do it. Very few Jamaicans own any hotels. Or talk about hotels, we are talking about 4 and 5 star. And some people get this confused and feel as if individuals who were born and raised in other countries but now reside on the Jamaican island are Jamaicans. Some may have been granted citizenship, but the companies that invest and own these hotels and these hotel chains are located overseas. But tourism is still looked at as a major sector that employs many. We're not going to deny that. The tourism and the hotel industry employ a whole heap of Jamaican citizens. We're not going to go around that. That is not something that can be denied. But look at what going now with places like Westmoreland and Montego Bay, where we have the turquoise water, where we have the 6 or 7 miles of white sand, where some of the biggest music events will be held this summer. They must say the people have not forgot there. For the youths in the inner city and for the youths in the rural Jamaica, where I see crime and violence are found in them community, upon them lane, and I present itself as an opportunity for gain the riches and the wealth dreamt about by most youth. May I tell you, it is an illusion. And there's always more to be lost than what is there to be gained from crime and violence. For a better Jamaica, take a combined effort. That of the security forces and that of the people. If the people want something, you ever notice? When the people want something, they're willing to work towards achieving that. A better Jamaica is not something that we need brute force to attain. We don't even necessarily need a whole heap of new laws and legislation to attain that either. The mindset of the people just have to change. The people need to acknowledge the fact that along with the war, crime and violence are hold back the country. It hold back communities. It hold back individuals. It hold back families. Community versus community and areas versus areas limit job opportunities for individuals residing within these communities. But that's not something people readily look at. And that's why we say the mindset needs to change. But the people have want said change. It can't be a situation where change is being forced or imposed upon them. We see what take place in communities like West Kingston. And the Prime Minister has confirmed that new housing units will be constructed within the Denham Town community. But we see what's going on with them and the security forces. Only altercations and the cussing and the ray and the vibes. But think about it. The JDF is stationed there for the protection of the residents of Denham Town. Did you know that? The flip side of the states of emergency being imposed in certain communities, not only to apprehend the criminals, but it's also to protect one side from the other side. Always keep that in mind. And the people being protected are in some way, shape or form seem to be unaware of the reason for the presence of the security forces. And look, people from outside can't say them see it. The mindset, the way some members of the security forces talk to civilians is extremely disrespectful. And vice versa, the way some people talk to the security forces, them see it as a lack of respect. Seeing that these individuals consider that every 13 hours, sometimes they might work all longer than that, sometimes they might work less. Them go out there, and you know what I mean? Them put them life on the line in their eyes. Sometimes I don't really say go. But this is the mindset even for them. Say, this is a job with high risk. And, no love of our support is shown for our contributions to society. No, we're going to tell them this. We need law enforcement. Big up all hardworking men and women within law enforcement. Every agency. And the people even know, say, the blame cannot just be put on any party or any administration or any prime minister or any MP or any councillor. No. As a nation, the people will have to look and say, you know what? Everybody is to be blamed. What we're going to do moving forward? What are the solutions we're going to use to push forward? How we're going to grow the next generation and forward up? Crime, along with the wharf, a whole back the country. Talk to me in the comment section. Until we reason again, my sentiments for you and yours, if you live, love, and prosper. Stay tuned.